Good morning, class. Now, what I want you to do is to look around you, left, right. Make sure you've got all your equipment because we're ready to learn. I'm just going to give you a few seconds to gather your pen, your ruler, your pencil, and your green pen. So pause the video while you do that. Alright, are we all settled in? Brilliant. Now, last lesson, we were looking at homeostasis. We are going to continue with that topic today. And our LO is going to be the same LO as last lesson, which is to understand homeostasis and thermoregulation. So like we always do, I want you to write down your LO. Are you done? Well done. Now, hopefully by the end of today, we would have described the roles of the nervous system and the endocrine system in homeostasis. Yes, they are quite big words, but not to worry, we're going to get there. Also, we should be able to describe the main components of what we call a control system and also their function. Now, last lesson, we actually looked at why our heart rate increases during exercise. We were also able to define what homeostasis is. We were also able to give an example of homeostasis actually taking place, and also identified the things the body actually needs to control. So what I'm going to do next is you actually doing some work, all right? I want to see how much you can remember, okay? So I'm just going to give you 5 to 6 minutes to try and answer these questions, all right? I want you to pause the video while you attempt them. All right. Are you all done? Well done. Do you still want to check your answers again? Okay, let's move on then. Now, so the first question is asking, why is it that our heart rate increases during exercise? Okay, now let's have a look together if we got the right stuff. Now, make sure you've got your green pen. Do you have your green pen with you? Remember, the reason why we have our green pen is for you to take responsibility for your work, okay? For you to mark your work, for you to also make corrections with it. It helps you to remember. Alright, so why is it that our heart rate increases during exercise? Now, like we said, during exercise, energy is needed for the muscles to keep contracting and relaxing. And we know that through the definition of respiration and equation, oxygen and glucose are used for respiration, where energy is released into the body cell. Now, remember, I didn't say energy is produced. I said energy is released. Now, imagine you actually doing a lot of exercise. What happens now is there's a high demand of it, all right? High demand for oxygen in order to supply the right amount of energy into the muscle cell. So, this pretty much means the heart rate is going to increase. You're trying to take in as much air as possible, and it's being transported to your muscle cell where respiration takes place. Did you get the answer right? I'm sure you did. Well done. Now, the second question was asking, what is homeostasis? Now, like we defined it last time, homeostasis is the regulation of internal conditions to maintain optimal condition for enzyme to function and for cells to function as well. Now, remember the word I said regulation, to control. And also remember the word I said optimal. Optimal basically means the best condition. Alright? Well done. Now, the third question is asking, you should give an example of homeostasis taking place. We actually looked at one example really, Okay, and that was temperature. For example, now when your body temperature increases, what happens now is you begin to sweat, and because you're sweating, it helps to drop the body temperature back to its optimal. Does that make sense? Obviously, another example is when you're really cold as well. What happens now is you begin to shiver. That also helps to warm up the body. I hope it's making sense. Brilliant. Now, the last question is asking, what are the 3 things the body needs to control? Let us have a look. And I hope you've done that already. Water, well done. Blood glucose, and temperature. Did we all get the answers right? I'm sure you did. Well done. Now, if you didn't get it right, that is fine. Remember, this is not your actual exam. Okay? This is an opportunity for you to reflect on what you didn't understand and look over it. Alright? I'll give you some moments to write it down. Make sure you pause the video. Okay? Some of the things you haven't written down, use the opportunity to write it down and correct your mistakes. Alright, now, I promised we're going to talk about the 2 control systems responsible for homeostasis. Now, the very first one is what we call the nervous system. And the second one is called endocrine. Okay, now let's look at the nervous system first. Now, the nervous system, okay, uses what we call electrical impulse to detect changes in our environment. Okay? To detect changes in our environment. The act of actually detecting is called stimuli. Okay? Now, like it says there in the slide, it enables us to detect our surroundings and respond to stimuli. Now, stimuli are the changes in our environment. Okay? Now, the nervous system also coordinates our behavior after that. Now, what is quite interesting, a couple of things are quite interesting about the nervous system. Okay? Messages are carried in the nerves. Okay? I'm sure you've heard of neurons in the nerves to specific locations. For example, your muscles. I know what is quite interesting. It uses electrical impulses. I know you're quite sure, like, oh, how is it that my body has got electricity? Yes, it uses electrical impulses, and it's really fast. Now, we've got somebody called Elon Musk. I'm sure you all know about Elon Musk. Now, what's interesting about Elon Musk is he's actually planning on actually implanting chip on people that are able to walk again. Okay? The reason why we're able to walk around, the reason why we're able to move around, we can jump, we can run, is because electrical impulses has been sent through our spinal cord, from the brain to the spinal cord to our legs, so all over our body. That's why we're able to move around. So if we have people that are paralyzed or broken the bone, is because why? Electrical impulses is not being sent. So Elon Musk is planning on finding a way, since our body actually uses electricity, finding a way to actually provide electrical impulses through the implant. Now, that is profound and that is amazing. We've got a lot of people these days on wheelchair, and so imagine if electrical impulses can actually be provided to those people. They'll be able to walk again, move around, and paralysis can be a thing of the past. So this is why it's very important for us to understand much of this. Now, the last thing about the nervous system is that it is really fast. The effect is pretty fast. Let me give an example of it. Imagine you accidentally stepped on a nail. What happens is the fact that you quickly remove your leg because you felt the pain, right? Yes. Now, would you be surprised if I tell you that is the nervous system working there? That is the work of the nervous system. It was almost like immediately removed your leg. That is the nervous system. It is pretty fast acting. Do not forget that. Okay? Now, let's look at the other one, endocrine. Endocrine is opposite that. Remember when I said the nervous system uses electrical impulses and it detects stimuli? Actually, endocrine is actually made up of endocrine glands, which secrete hormones directly into the blood and produce effects on organs, on targeted organs. Now, they're both specific, which is amazing. So it is very important that the information is sent into the right place or the right location. Okay, so it secretes hormones. Now, an example of an hormone or a hormone is estrogen. Estrogen is found in women. Okay, we've got in terms of birth control as well. What happens now is the fact that those people that try to control the birth uses like a blocker, an enzyme to actually block the production of estrogen so they wouldn't get pregnant. Okay, estrogen is an example of a sex hormone. The male have got testosterone, which is also an example of an hormone. Does that make sense? Now, rather than using electrical impulses, this uses chemical messages, which is hormones. Remember, these are the point of this control system is to send information. And also, you know how the nervous system is fast acting? The endocrine is slow acting. So it's really, really slow. It's over time. And I remember talking to a student, I was like, why is it slow? And then I gave an example. I said, women do get menopause, okay, around age 40. They start to have symptoms for menopause. So if you don't know menopause, that is when women are unable to give birth. Okay. Now, hormones like estrogen is generally being released, okay, until that certain age period when it stops. Okay, that is part of the endocrine system. It's really slow. For example, pain, can be really slow. Does that make sense? Brilliant. Now, what I want you to do is to pause this video and answer these questions from what we've just talked about. All right, are we done? Well done. So, the question was asking you about to fill in this, okay? About the nervous system and the endocrine system. So like I said, responses for the nervous system is pretty fast and precise. It uses electrical impulses to send information and action. This is carried by the nerves. For example, the muscles. Remember I talked about the fact that, for example, if you step on a nail, you quickly retract your leg. That is the job of the nervous system. And then we've got the endocrine system. Like I said, it is slow, but it acts for longer. Okay, it lasts for longer, and it uses what we call hormones, which are chemical messengers. Okay, to send informations. Okay, and also another thing, action. This is carried in the blood through all organs. Now, this is very, very key there. Okay, it is carried to the blood to all organs, but only affects target organs only. Now, the nervous system, that's very, very specific. It only heads to the only place it wants it to go to. While the endocrine is very specific. Well, the endocrine takes it to all organs, but only affects the targeted organ. Remember, it's because it goes through the blood. All right. Now, I do hope we've learned quite a lot from this video. Okay. Make sure you go through the EduCake question. All right. Look through it and feel free to ask questions and email us. All right. Well done to everybody. Now, we're gonna look for this in the next lesson. Okay. So job well done to everybody.